Hi guys, today is the 9th of May 2019 at 26 minutes past 10, and I just want to go through a quick analysis. I'm still going through it a little bit, so bear with me. In this scene, I was thinking about the possibility of the tsunami occurring in this month, in May, just because of all the things that we see North Korea launching their missiles, the escalations with Iran. It's all signs that we've been looking for. So when I was looking at it, I was thinking the way that these characters are all seated. If you think of the girl as the middle point, which she is, you kind of end up going in the shape of an M. And then you've also got the fact that there's 13 characters. So the possibility of it being May 13th sprung to mind. And then I was thinking over here, you've also got the M, and then these two characters connected to the tsunami wave, which appears to be in the middle. But the M is also the number 3. And I was thinking 330 maybe, but then I was just like, well, it could just be 13 again, just with the reference to how many of them there are. So May 13th, keep an eye out for potential tsunami. The other connection to that possible interpretation is that when the girl drops the apple, the girl possibly symbolizing Meghan Markle and the apple representing the birth of the baby Archie, rolls across the ground 7 times. So that's a week later, which brings us to May 12th. But the 7 on the ground that the apple rolls over goes dark, is followed by a spotlight or a flashlight. So there's also the fact that there's going to be a power outage of some kind, a blackout, because all there is torchlight to follow this apple. The rest of it is dark. And as you see in the scene just previously, 1 minute we have light, and then the next minute it goes dark and we have emergency lighting, which is what the red scheme is, and the exit lights up on the back, which suggests time to go. 7 rolls across, 7 goes dark, so let's say that's May 12th over, or just over, because there's a little bit of light left on just the end of the L or 7 here. That brings us to May 13th, which is 8 days after. We see the volcano on the apple, we see the foot, possible connection to Italy, Stromboli, and Mount Etna, but also the foot belongs to Obama, so a possible connection to Hawaii and Kilauea and Mauna Loa. They're erupting, so in the next couple of days, or maybe on May 13th, one, some or all of those volcanoes may or will erupt. When the apple splits open, we have the possible connection to the date period that we should be in. So 7 rolls across, May 12th. Goes dark, May 13th. 1 space negative, 3 spaces filled. 1, 3. 8 days after, 8 forms in the middle. So May 13th. This is just interpretation. This also signifies fissure number 8 at the Kilauea volcano. The way that they've done the 8 connecting directly across the middle of the apple is creating a fissure. Fissure number 8, eruption happens. I also believe, as many of you also do, that the Helena slump will slip away, a sacrificial ritual causing a tsunami to head towards, well, all the countries in the Pacific, but also towards the west coast of the United States. On the flip side, if this is May 13th, suggestion here, we also have a possible connection to what could be the 15th, with the X and the 111 and the line across being 5. And then you've got the submarine or the missile coming up out of the wave. That's where I think this connection then connects to New York and the Atlantic, and a tsunami being caused there by Poseidon, which, as I said, it has been launched on a submarine capable of carrying it, most likely armed. You wouldn't send it out unarmed. So the potential for that to happen is there. Whether it happens or not remains to be seen. Just going back very quickly, while this could be interpreted as May 13th, there's also individual dates in there as well, I believe. Excuse me. Like the L upside down, like the T upside down, like the 12/23, December 23rd. There's also a reference to December 25th, although it's so cleverly hidden. It's taken me all this time up until now to find it. Right here in this negative space, there's an image. The leaf or the vine in the background creates the ear. This is the head, down by, what would you say, like the neck and the chest, down to the legs or leg, and it ends in a hoof. So it's not a dog, and it's too tall and broad to be a pig. It took me a while, but I identified the silhouette of this animal as a reindeer, helped along by the X that's been placed on the mouth of this character, which also acts as the X on the nose, which is Rudolph. So reindeer, Rudolph, that's Christmas. This here on this character's, where the character's eye should be, is an eclipse. We know that. But I think it's specifically the annular solar eclipse. The reason I should say that is because look at the image. An annular solar eclipse occurs when the moon is too far away from the Earth to completely cover the sun. This results in a ring of light around the darkened moon. These characters clearly have connections to moon crater faces. So moon, I mean, you've got Easter reference in there, eggheads. You've got the craters, which give them a connection to the moon. They're blue, which gives them a connection to, tsunami and kind of death in general. But I think if this is saying this negative space, which is depicting a reindeer, or at least half of it, quarter of it, will be December 25th, then the day after is the annular solar eclipse, which gives this exact effect, a ring of light around a darkened moon. The other figures may connect to other dates. I haven't really been successful in delving in deeper to find those, but I take what I'm given. So the reindeer, December 25th, the annular solar eclipse, December 26th. I already have markers on those dates, as well as December 23rd for the LT3, December 27th for the connection to the number 27. That's always coming up. As I said, that could happen in any particular month. August 27th, December 27th, I don't know, but put it out there. And then obviously the big ones, December 30th, December 31st, New Year's, warnings from North Korea. That's the time they've got until to, come up with some sort of, there's nothing they're going to come up with. I'll be honest with myself. So if a tsunami is going to happen around May 13th, I started looking for other indications that might be possible. And I found that the A or the D that I've commonly referenced this as could also be an M. The little marking up here, I've got it on a pretty blurred frame, but if you know the video, you know that there's a little mark up here. Could just be up, down, another M, and then 1, 3, May 13th. Of course, it could be May 31st. Yeah, May has a 31st month. 31st day. But as I said, considering the escalations are moving very, very quickly, it could be May 13th that we see missile launches. In connection with that, Iran is moving ballistic missiles by boat, the United States is saying, and that's part of the intelligence that led them to send the USS Abraham Lincoln over to that part of the world. I just think we're seeing connections after connections after connections, because we have, as I said, it represents Pakistan and Iran, but we've got the missiles, we've got them on the iceberg, which represents the boat, we've got the reference to 1-3 up here, which is, you know, it could be 31st of any particular month, but as I say, they're moving their missiles now, so that's kind of exactly what this scene is. The 13th is coming up, you know, in the background is the eclipse, so it could be, again, a reference to one date and a reference to another date in another part of the year. So much to watch for. But around the time that Iran comes out on their boats and looks like they're going to block the Strait of Hormuz with their missiles and stuff, there's also this fire moving upwards, which is, as I say, I think a representation of a volcanic eruption. I think that's confirmed again in the video later when we're showing this scene here. We've got smoke moving upwards, darker smoke in the, along the bottom. So you can, for me, that is a volcanic eruption, a massive one, where the volcanoes that completely collapsed and pyroclastic flow is moving across the ocean, similar to what it did with Krakatoa. Here you've got the submarine. I think this could belong to Iran, as we had the news reports that they had launched one of their new submarines earlier this year or late last year. I think it was earlier this year. Obviously, we've got missiles coming out. That's in response to an attack that's happened. So if this news story is linked to Iran coming out, then it's possible that we could see Israel and or the United States launch some form of attack on Iran, or maybe Iran in Syria again. Possible. As I put out the news report, Iran is selling its oil to Syria again, so it's possible that the United States could try and stop the oil from going. Sorry, the United States could try and stop the oil going from Iran to Syria by, you know, bombing them or something, and then Iran responds with their submarine. I think this may represent. I know it represents an aircraft carrier because it's a big ship, but there was another one in the past. I can't remember the name of it now, but we've got the USS Abraham Lincoln going over there at the moment, so this could be a direct connection. Iran moving missiles, USS Abraham Lincoln going over there. It does seem to be connecting, you guys, and I'm not trying to force it either. It's I think pretty plain to see for most of us. There was something else I was gonna talk about in this particular scene. Obviously, we're around the time where we're getting uranium talk with Iran enriching their uranium. The stock markets are not plunging just yet, but they're showing those signs again because of this Chinese trade war. I don't know what's going to come out of the talks today, but it's possible that there could be a deal and everything is fine. But, you know, considering, as I say, the other events that are unfolding and the possible connections it all has to this video, we may see that talk collapse and the stock market starts plunging from now. We get to May 13th and then we start seeing the electricity go out, a tsunami wave, missile launches as depicted in this particular frame. Even with the house in the background here, I was thinking, oh, does the house say it as well? May 13th, or let me try and get it on there. Come on, there we go. And I was thinking, yes, it does. We pointed out the fact that this is 1 and 3 or 0 and 3. Either way, 13, 31, 30. All of those dates I've given as warnings as like August 13th or December 13th. But there's also the M over here, which could give us May 13th. Rocket launch, something like that. Red Lobster, possible. New York, New Year. Again, this, I have more, not confidence, but more, I don't know the word. I feel a bit more strongly around this one being a May 13th kind of thing with Iran, involving Iran. And then this, I think, is a December 31st thing with the New Year reference, New York, both of those, with a bigger nuclear weapon, which I think is connected to North Korea. So Iran first, North Korea later. Um, I think that's everything I kind of wanted to bring to you guys. Sitting in the reindeer, December 25th, December 26th, possible May 13th connection, tsunami, missile launch. I think that's all connected to Iran. So if there's a tsunami that's affecting Iran and they're in the Strait of Hormuz or in the Persian Gulf, then that would most likely be connected to the Indian Ocean earthquake, which would flood that region. And then it's possible that that earthquake, because the regions aren't too far apart, could have an effect on the volcanoes in the Mediterranean, the Stromboli, the Mount Etna, and then we could see a tsunami in that region, which has an effect on the Vatican, taking out the Vatican, maybe an effect on the Leaning Tower of Pisa and Eiffel Tower as well in France. It would have to be a really big earthquake though, as I say, 9 magnitude plus, nothing lower than that. You guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.